What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon. And today, we're going to be those people, and we're going to talk about the potential DLC that we could see for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. To be fair, the discussion of DLC really isn't that crazy when you think about it. If Scarlet and Violet follow Sword and Shield's DLC schedule, then their DLC would actually be releasing, their first expansion at least, would be releasing June of 2023, and would have already been announced within a year from right now, the time this video releases. So DLC isn't that crazy to discuss. Maybe it is when we haven't seen the games, but the point of today's video is just to break down some of the areas that aren't necessarily incorporated into the mainland Spain and Portugal that I think would be great potential for DLC. Kicking us off at number 1, we have the Balearic Islands. The Balearic Islands are in the Mediterranean Sea. They are technically part of Spain, but are obviously being islands, not part of mainland Spain. And they're gorgeous. They have such stunning beaches and stunning water. They have great fishing opportunities and are a great hot spot for people who love boating and just vacationers alike. And I think it would be amazing to see them as DLC. It could be our tropical area, much like we got a very tropical area in the Isle of Armor. I also think that you could take the names, the Balearic Islands, and how cool would it be if they made it the Beartic Islands, and instead of the Arctic Beartic form we know today, they made a regional variant for Beartic that actually was kind of a staple of these islands, in a similar way that Galarian Slowpoke was a staple of the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. I think that would be really neat, and, you know, it sounds similar, and Beartic not only deserves some love, but Pokemon seems to really like making bear Pokemon. We get a bear Pokemon every single gen. Kanto gave us Snorlax, Johto gave us Ursaring and Teddiursa, Hoenn gave us Spinda, Sinnoh gave us Munchlax, Unova gave us Beartic, Kalos gave us Pangoro, Alola gave us Beware, and Galar gave us the Urshifu forms, and then even in Hisui we got another one with Ursaluna. So it is completely possible that we get another bear thing, and I think it would be cool if Beartic got something and they did the Beartic Islands instead of the Balearic Islands. Another great island environment that I think would be amazing to see in these games for DLC would be the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands are obviously named after their canary population, which is a type of bird, and so because of that, I think it would be neat if they somehow involved the Kanto bird trio with the islands. Maybe you just find a different bird on each island, like there's 3 islands or something. Now that said, I don't want them to get a new form or anything, or even a new member, because we did already see them get Galarian forms in the Crown Tundra. I just think it would be neat to have them somehow involved, because Canary Islands are named after birds, and, you know, the legendary birds are not only pretty well-known Pokemon, but also a staple of Gen 1, and GameFreak likes to pander to that, so it'd be neat to see. Furthermore, the Galarian birds, or excuse me, the Cantonian birds, tie into a certain legendary Pokemon, and that is Lugia. It is often kind of seen that Ho-Oh is kind of the trio master of the legendary dogs, like he oversees them, and Lugia oversees the legendary birds. So I think it would be really neat if, after you found all these legendary birds, maybe you found a regional variant of Lugia. Lugia is a beloved Pokemon. I know that it is one of my personal favorites, and it will be really neat to see something for Lugia, some kind of variant, especially given that we already almost have a variant of Lugia with Shadow Lugia from XD Gale of Darkness, and people absolutely love that thing, but it's never been an actual Pokemon game. I'm not proposing we put that in a Pokemon game, but just give Lugia something, because it's clear that if you do that, the fans will love it. I know I will love it. I imagine everyone else will too. And then, of course, you could maybe tie in some kind of Canary legendary into this as well. Maybe it's clashing with Lugia or something. But either way, I think the Canary Islands would be a great spot for DLC. So we've talked about the Canary Islands, we've talked about the Balearic Islands, but the real island that we absolutely need to see, or islands that we really need to see, are the Azores Islands. The Azores Islands are actually not a part of Spain. They are a part of Portugal, and they are located way out in the Atlantic Ocean. They are pretty far from Portugal. It's almost like Portugal's Hawaii for all my US viewers. It's that far out from the mainland. And I think that idea would be so neat that, like, they introduce this area that is a part of the region, but it's so far out. So you could find a whole variety of different Pokemon there, whole variety of some different regional variants. Maybe we could get more regional variants there. And the Azores Islands are just, I can't put it into words. They're so incredibly beautiful. They're really high up. They potentially maybe number one on my bucket list places I would like to visit in the world someday. But they're absolutely gorgeous. Their parks look like Zen gardens. They have a volcano. They have really cool coastal cities with, like, murals from all the people who've traveled there, kind of just lining the ports. And it needs to be seen. Furthermore, since they're so far out, you actually get a lot of deep sea animals right off their coast, like sperm whales. Those are pretty deep sea whales, and you can see them right off the coast of this archipelago, and it's incredible. I think that we absolutely need to see the Azores. If you want to hear more about Azores, I absolutely recommend checking out Anton Somewhere on YouTube. His video on the Azores Islands, it's about like 45 minutes to an hour long, and I promise you it's worth it. It's really cool. It really shows the beauty of these islands, and I promise you, if you watch it, you will be wanting DLC based off of these islands as well. Now, we've talked about our kind of more tropical, more beachy island areas like the Isle of Armor was, but now we need to talk about something to contrast that, some more mountainy, less ocean area. We don't want another rating like Oris, too much water. So we need a second DLC that's going to kind of differentiate from whatever island DLC. Obviously, we don't really know this is the pattern they'll use, just speculating, but I think the perfect mountain area would be, drum roll please, I'm just gonna assume you're drum rolling for me, really letting the suspense sit on this one, South Kalos. South Kalos is a region that has been acknowledged to exist. You actually visit one city that's kind of the gateway of it in X and Y, which is, of course, Khulud City. But you don't get to see the rest of the South Kalos region. But if you look at the Kalos map and you look at the bottom, it's very mountainy, implying that it is a mountainy region, so you could easily tie it to be the equivalent of the Pyrenees Mountains of that border real-world Spain and France. And furthermore, that's another reason South Kalos is perfect, is because France actually borders Spain. France is Kalos in the Pokemon world. Spain is represented by Scarlet and Violet's region in the Pokemon world. So this area would be, hypothetically, right next to, it would be connected to, it would be bordering the region of Scarlet and Violet. So why not visit there for a DLC? I think it'll be really cool to visit that kind of area. It can maybe even serve as kind of a X2, Y2 redemption, since we never got those games. X and Y are the only games that didn't get some kind of improved version or third version or sequel like all the other games did. So this could maybe redeem that by giving us some kind of Zygarde plot, and maybe one that ties in Xerneas and Yveltal. But most importantly, I think that South Kalos would be the perfect way to reintroduce Megas into the franchise. Obviously, Megas are beloved, and I think it would just be so neat if they didn't put them in Scarlet and Violet, didn't put them in the first DLC, but then the second DLC, they marketed it by saying, we're bringing Mega Evolution back, and maybe even by going, and in South Kalos, you can find some Mega Stones for Pokemon that we didn't know could Mega Evolve. And these could be Pokemon that didn't exist in Kalos. So you could hypothetically get Mega Evolutions for Alolan, Galar Pokemon, and maybe even for some Kalos Pokemon or Pokemon that weren't touched in Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, and Unova that definitely deserve a Mega Evolution. So you could see things like Mega Drampa or maybe a Mega Tropius. All of that stuff will be super interesting, as well as the potential of seeing some variants to kind of tie the region together. I think that would just be so cool. It needs to happen, in my opinion. South Kalos, you've acknowledged it's a region. We need to see it. It's going to be connected to this region, so please let us see it, Game Freak. But, so there you have it. That's a couple of areas that I think would be perfect for DLC. Let me know what you would like to see for DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and let me know what you think of these ideas, what you would be 100% on board with, what you would be absolutely livid if they did. Let me know in the comments below, and of course, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, because we do talk about all things Pokemon here, which includes a lot of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet stuff. Until next time, I will see all of you later.